Welcome back to A Thread of Hope as we walk the footsteps of Jesus through the Old Testament. And tonight we're going to dig into Exodus. We started with the patriarchs last week, and we're going to skip over a lot of things because there is a lot in Exodus. It is such a beautiful book, and there is so much to God's redemptive story in Exodus. Here we will find the origins of the getting into the meat of his redemption plan for his people. And tonight we're going to talk about the similarities between Jesus and Moses, and how just the beauty of that and how similar they were. You know, they were both humble and they were both obedient, very compassionate, and there is so much more. So we're going to dig into that starting when they were children. Both Moses and Jesus found themselves in danger early in their childhood and had to be rescued. Moses, of course, they were killing all the firstborn, or killing all the males, because Pharaoh was afraid of too many Israelites. They were, as God said, Abraham's people were going to be more than the stars in the sky, and that is coming to fruition. And Pharaoh's afraid of the power that they could have if they choose to. So he wanted to kill all the males to slow things down. And of course, Moses had to be rescued from that. And similarly, Herod was trying to kill all the males under 2 years old because he was afraid of Jesus and the kind of leader that he was going to be. And so an interesting twist on this is Moses is born and takes his people out of Egypt. And when Jesus is a baby, he goes back to Egypt to stay safe from Herod. So that's just one little mix in the story. Both are chosen to be saviors and deliverers. After being separated from his people, Moses returns to deliver Israel from Pharaoh. And just as scripture promises, God will return to deliver Israel. Both of them battle Satan. Moses battles Satan through magicians and sorcerers. Some scholars even use Pharaoh as Satan, but definitely the magicians and sorcerers trying to keep the Israelites in Egypt. And of course, Jesus dealt with Satan when he was in the wilderness for 40 days. And Satan was, saying, well, you're the son of God. You can, you have all the power in the world, and you can feed yourself, and you can take this power. And so they were both tempted by Satan, or they both had to battle Satan, is a better way to say that. Both of them took control of the sea, Moses the Red Sea, and Jesus the Sea of Galilee. Both also fed the multitudes. Moses fed them with manna, and Jesus, of course, fed 5,000 people on the side of a mountain, more than 5,000 actually, with 2 loaves of bread, or 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And of course, in both cases, in the case of Moses, God was using Moses as the vessel to make that happen. But also, God fed the multitudes at the side of the mountain through Jesus. Both of their faces radiate with God's glory. Moses is the leader of his people, and Jesus is the king. Both are distrusted and challenged by the people that they serve. All throughout the desert, Moses is dealing with grumbling and people not trusting him. And why did you take us away from Egypt? At least we knew where we would be fed. And of course, Jesus is challenged by the Sadducees and Pharisees, the leaders of the Jewish church, when he was walking on this earth. Both of them advocate for their people. Moses, after the golden calf incident, advocated for his people, and Jesus prays for his disciples often. They both have about 70 people appointed to support them. Jesus had 72, so a little bit more than that. And you can find the story about Moses' 70 people in Numbers 11, 16 through 17. And of course, Jesus is 72 in Luke 10:1. Both of them established days of commemoration, and both of them had to do with blood. Moses establishes the Passover using the blood of lambs to save the firstborn of each Israelite family. And that creates the Passover that the Jewish nation still celebrates to this day because it's such an important part of their heritage. And of course, Jesus uses his own, or talks about his own blood as a symbol of him shedding his blood for all of us who follow him from that night through the end of time. They each engage in healing ministries, and both of them, Jesus, many healing ministries, but they both specifically engaged in healing ministries with leprosy. God's voice is heard when a cloud overshadows Moses. Or overshadows both Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, speaking to them when, to me, this is just such a sibling rivalry thing. They question if Moses is the only one that hears from God and takes it to the people, and God gets really angry at them and explains that Moses sees them differently. He sees the form of the Lord. So it's different from what Aaron and Miriam are hearing. So a little sibling rivalry there, even from way grown-up people. God's voice is also heard when a cloud overshadows Peter and James, John, and Jesus in the Transfiguration. And the Transfiguration brings us to our final thought, where both Jesus and Moses appear after their death. Moses appears in the New Testament in the Transfiguration, and Jesus, of course, divine man, has resurrected and he returns to his disciples. So there's a lot of times, a lot of similarities between Moses and Jesus. And I found that fascinating and wanted to just share a little bit of that with you. We are going to get more into the tabernacle and laws. There is a lot in Exodus, and I'm having to pick and choose what I want to get to, because there's many, many books in the Old Testament after. So we're going to be talking, though, a little bit about the law and some of the sacrifices and festivals and the tabernacle and how those all come in, how Jesus is a piece of all of those. So until tomorrow, I hope you have a wonderful day.